Alright guys, Massey 1105 driver here. Josh Timmer requested an overview of this 1105 Massey I have, so that's what I'm going to do here. This is a 1975 model, and I've owned it for about 10 years. Let me think here. No, I think it'll be 11 years this in 17. And I bought it at a bought it at a farm auction, and like February or March of '06, and it's been a pretty good tractor. I've used it plenty for what I've got. These are around 100 horsepower from factory, and this one's about right in there. It's not been turned up or anything. These have I believe it's a 354 cubic inch 6-cylinder diesel engine, Perkins, with a small turbo. The only difference between an 05 and an 1135 is the turbo. The turbo on the 35 is just a hair bigger, because they're about 20 or 25 horse more. And then you got the 1155, but they were a V8, so they were more power yet. But this one, I have the 1116s on the front, and which it came that way, and 20.8 38s on the rear, which it came that way, but I believe they came with 18.4 38s on the rear from the factory. So, and I'm the second owner as far as I know on this one, so the previous owner put the bigger rears on the rear end, and I had duals for it. And it looks pretty tough with the duals on it. Really floats good. If it's a little squishy, but anyhow, and it has 2 hydraulic remotes and 3-point and a hitch. And this one has about 6,700 hours on it, and as far as I know, it's not been overhauled, so it's all from the factory hours. Nothing on an overhaul yet. The only thing I've done to it is, I think it was about 3 years ago, I thought the clutch was going out of it, and here the transmission was going out of it, so I had the transmission and clutch all rebuilt. Multi-power was good. And like I say, the only engine work done to this was a head gasket about 6 or 7 years, no, yeah, 7 or 8 years ago. Not long after I got it, I had problems with it overheating on a real hot day, and did some different things to it, and finally, after talking to people about it, discovered the head gasket was bad, replaced it, and it's been fine ever since. I have put a water pump in it, probably a couple of years after I owned it, but other than that, it's pretty good and straight. It's all original, no paint job or anything on it. As you can see, it doesn't shine, but it does good for what I need it to do. I don't have big equipment, so it handles everything nice. Yeah, let me start it up here. I had it running earlier today, so it should start right up. She'll purr like a kitten. And it'll roll some coal too, depending on what I'm doing with it, plowing especially. But that's what she is. She does everything I want it to do. It's been good to me, so I just try and keep the oil changed in it and regular maintenance, fuel filters. Haven't had many issues with it. There's other than the transmission and whatnot, but it should last me a long time after having that fixed. Yeah. And for Jeff Raymond, if you watch this, I tried your trick there earlier today. I hadn't started this thing in a couple of months, and I turned it over for about 10 seconds and then let it sit for 10 or 15 and then tried it again, and it didn't it wouldn't go, so I plugged it in. I probably had it plugged in maybe a half hour and then it fired right up. But this thing's just so cold-blooded that if I know I'm going to use it, I'll plug it in and I have no problems with it. But if I spur of the moment try and start it, if it's not 70 degrees or warmer, it'll crank a little while before it'll start. So if I know I'm going to run it and it's chilly, I usually just plug it in and I don't have any issues with it. But for whatever reason, this one's cold-blooded. I know there's other Masseys out there, the older ones, that'll fire right up on a cold day, but this one never did for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because everything's getting a little worn in that engine and it needs redone or what, but I need a new seat too. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's getting pretty rough. I need to find a cushion in the backrest for it. And for Michigan farming and the soybean farmer, there's my moldboard plow. It's a Model 82 Massey 4-bottom, and that 4th bottom is removable if you had a smaller tractor. It can only pull 3 bottoms, but I don't have any problems pulling the 4 bottoms with mine. In fact, I used to have a 5-bottom John Deere semi-mount, and I didn't have any problem pulling that either. So she sits out and is a little rusty, but it don't take much to shine her up when you get her in the dirt. So when I bought that, two or 3 years ago, I bought this one. I had a Model 82 before, and I sold it, and I kicked myself after I sold it because I bought that 5-bottom, and I should have never got rid of the 82 I had before. But anyhow, this is just a quick overview on the 1105. It's the only tractor I own. I'm only one guy, so I can only run one tractor at a time. It'd be nice to either have a bigger one with a cab or have a little smaller one for doing some things, but maybe someday when I find a money tree and get it planted and growing, I could do stuff like that. But for no more acres I have, this thing works fine. It handles all the equipment I have. I get by with it. So anyhow, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll get back with you, and hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year, and we'll see you on the next one.